A deal has been announced by US President Donald Trump to bring a cessation of Israel's genocidal military campaign in Gaza. But let's be clear, Israel has broken every single ceasefire agreement it has ever had with any state ever. This will be no different. However, what has happened during this period of time is Israel has brought itself directly into an antagonistic conflict with the vast majority of humanity through its genocidal actions in Gaza. When people are seeing on a daily basis children killed on their phones, they have gone away to try and understand what could the cause of this be? What is the ideological underpinning of all of this killing and murder? And that has led them to the ideology of Zionism. In the United States, you see stalwart supporters of Israel on the right-wing side of the equation turning against Israel and turning against Zionism in large numbers.
Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years.
What they've done to Gaza is fucking insane.
It's insane.
And if you can't see that, if you can't say that, and your response is, Israel has the right to defend itself. Like, what are you talking about? Against what? Children?
I would literally rather saw off my own foot than support Israel ever again, by the way. Never supporting that demonic nation ever again. That's like, I'm so off that train. It's crazy.
I feel like America's just like, it feels like we're just owned by Israel, And we just never knew it.
I thought we owned them.
That's what I thought.
Uh-oh.
Bibi's running around, this is a fact, I'm not guessing about this, is running around the Middle East, his region, and his own country, and telling people point blank, just stating it, I control the United States, I control Donald Trump. It's too humiliating, I can't handle that.
Israel has woken the world to the horrors of the Zionist project practiced upon Palestinians, and people will never go to sleep again. But also, the story of Palestine is not simply a story of unchecked Zionist power. Actually, it's the story of a refusal to die. The Palestinians have not been defeated. In fact, they are victorious. Palestine was supposed to die in 1948. It didn't. Palestine was supposed to die across the last 2 years in Gaza. It didn't. The Palestinian resistance has taken its place alongside the Viet Cong in Vietnam, the French resistance in World War II, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, the heroes of the Irish who refused to bow to 800 years of British colonialism, and all free people of the world, the majority of humanity, support the Palestinians' right to armed resistance as an occupied people. So what do we see today? We see Spain, which has a history of warm relations with Israel, now engaging in a full arms embargo with the Zionist entity. You have Greece and Italy brought to a full standstill by unions in those countries, refusing to cooperate with government diktats vis-a-vis the Zionist entity. You see the majority of states in the world taking positions in the United Nations which are at odds with Israel. The victory that this represents is that Israel's genocide is having to disguise itself and hide in bureaucratic violence. It is no longer able to pursue this genocidal war in the naked way it was before, and with the support of key propagandists that it could rely on for many decades previously. When you look at this recent peace deal, what has been agreed upon is not the full withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. Instead, what you have is the vague promise of an agreement by Donald Trump, acting as the guarantor of this deal, that Israel will withdraw to particular points within Gaza, the specifics to be agreed upon at a later date. In addition to the release of 20 Israeli prisoners of war and captives within Gaza, in exchange, there should be around 2,000 Palestinian prisoners released, with several hundred of them those who received life sentences. What you also have is Israel now obligated to allow the delivery of around 600 trucks of aid daily. Implicit within that is the acknowledgement that Israel has been using food as a weapon of war. That is a key characteristic of genocide. The people of Gaza are celebrating a ceasefire agreement which could finally offer them respite from the daily bombings of every single hospital in the Strip, from an entity that left children on incubators to later be discovered by a journalist. What happened to the journalist that made that discovery? Mohammed Baaloushi, that discovered the rotted corpses of babies. Eventually he himself was killed too. The reverberations of Gaza and Israel's genocidal campaign there will be felt for decades to come. Those reverberations have entailed the changing of laws in other countries, the imprisoning of 33 political prisoners in this country now for their refusal to allow genocide to take place on their watch, the arresting of blind protesters for holding placards with words on them, the arresting of a young man for holding a magazine which has these now criminal words printed on the cover of it. This is the authoritarianism that Israel's genocide has unleashed on the rest of the world. We have seen heroic support from billions of people across the world to the people of Gaza. We have seen people from wide and far cling onto the hands of those in Gaza and refuse to let them go. But what we have also seen is an unprecedented servility among the political classes of the world who have been materially involved in this genocide in Gaza. Do not allow them to rewrite history. Already you have Israel lobby-backed politicians like John Ashworth coming on TV and trying to claim.
And I've wanted to see a ceasefire for 2 years. I think there is a role that the Labour government has played in this as well. Remember, Labour has done what it can diplomatically.
Simply not true. The UK has been a party to this genocide by sending RAF spy flights, R1 shadow planes over the top of Gaza on an almost daily basis. Even in the hours around the killing of 3 former UK military personnel in Gaza. Over the next few months, they will try and tell you that the war is over. Genocide in new clothes. They will try to assure you that there are legal processes playing out to establish the facts of what did and what didn't happen in Gaza. Do not allow them to treadmillize you and to nullify your aversion to this human suffering. Do not allow them to demobilize you. Now is not the time to retreat. Now is the time to escalate. Over the last 2 years, there have been very, very, very few news organizations that have actively investigated and covered the genocide in Gaza in a serious way that will stand the test of time. I would say that Double Down News has delivered a pioneering service to humanity during that period. So please do support them on Patreon in any way that you can.